The siren wailed like a banshee through the rain-lashed streets of Boston's North End. But it was the crackle of flames devouring the old Italian bakery that jolted me awake in the bunk room. I bolted upright, heart slamming against my ribs, the acrid smoke already clawing at my throat before I even hit the floor. In that split second, as boots thudded around me and the alarm screamed its urgent gospel, I saw his face, not the fire's maw, but Alex's, twisted in that secret smile he saved only for me, whispering wife like a vow he shouldn't make. I'd known Alex since we were scrawny kids chasing fireflies in the cracked lots of Dorchester. Back when summer smelled of salt air and his laugh could chase away the shadows of my dad's endless shifts at the shipyard. He was the golden boy, all freckles and easy charm, the one who dragged me into tree houses and dared me to jump, while I, Jamie Riley, was the quiet shadow, nursing bruises from playground scraps and dreams too big for our rundown block. We were inseparable, two halves of a whole until puberty hit like a freight train, and suddenly his glances lingered too long on my swim team shoulders, and mine on the curve of his neck when he stretched after a pickup game. But we never named it, never crossed that line. Not then. High school blurred into a haze of stolen moments, notes passed in homeroom, shoulders brushing in crowded hallways, the electric buzz of his hand grazing mine under the cafeteria table. He dated girls to fit the script, cheerleaders with glossy ponytails who giggled at his jokes while I buried myself in books and late-night runs along the harbor, pretending my heart wasn't fracturing with every fake smile he flashed for them. "You're my best friend, Jam," he'd say, slinging an arm around me after a party, his breath warm with cheap beer. "Always will be." And I'd nod, swallowing the ache, because what else could I do? Coming out in our neighborhood meant whispers, sideways looks, maybe worse. So we danced around it, two idiots orbiting a truth too dangerous to touch. By 18, life splintered us. Alex bolted for NYU on a partial scholarship, chasing journalism dreams in the neon sprawl of New York, while I stayed put, enrolling at Bunker Hill Community College and signing up for the Fire Academy because, hell, if I couldn't burn for him, I'd burn for something. The department became my anchor of brotherhood, the adrenaline rush of wrenching open doors to pull strangers from infernos. Boston FD swallowed me whole, the weight of the gear, the metallic tang of oxygen masks, the way a good save etched lines into your face like war medals. I climbed ranks fast, from probie to lieutenant by 24. My days a rhythm of drills, calls, and the quiet pride of knowing I mattered. But nights were for scrolling his Instagram, heart twisting at pics of him embedded in war zones, his boyish grin sharpened by stubble and far-off suns. Then, 3 months ago, he came back. Alex Harper, war correspondent extraordinaire, rolling into town for a book tour on his memoir about dodging IEDs in the Middle East. Our reunion was at the Black Rose, that dive bar in Faneuil Hall where the ghosts of Irish immigrants still clink glasses. I spotted him across the crowded room, leaning against the bar in a fitted button-down that hugged his lean frame, laughing with a pint in hand. My pulse jackhammered. 5 years hadn't dulled the pull. He saw me, eyes lighting like he'd just found home, and crushed me in a hug that lingered a beat too long, his stubble scraping my cheek. "Jam," he murmured into my neck, voice rough with something unspoken. "God, I've missed you." That's when I noticed the guy at his elbow tall, broad-shouldered, with a jaw like carved granite and eyes the color of storm clouds. Ethan Caldwell, tech whiz turned startup mogul, all polished suits and quiet intensity. Alex introduced us with that easy grin. "My boyfriend, Ethan. Babe, this is Jamie Rock, my everything from back in the day." Ethan's handshake was firm, his gaze assessing, and something flickered their curiosity. Envy. I brushed it off, drowning in the joy of Alex's return. The three of us falling into easy banter over whiskeys and tales of near misses. But as the night wore on, Ethan's arm stayed slung possessively around Alex's waist, and I felt the first crack in my carefully rebuilt walls. It started small. Those whispers Ethan let slip when Alex wasn't listening. A week later, at a harbor cruise fundraiser for the department, I caught him watching me across the deck, wind whipping his dark hair as the city lights danced on the water. Alex was inside, charming donors, leaving us alone by the rail. "You know," Ethan said, voice low over the slap of waves. "Alex talks about you like you're the sun. Calls you his wife in his sleep sometimes." My stomach dropped, the word landing like a live wire. I laughed it off, blaming the salt spray stinging my eyes. But his stare pinned me knowing, almost challenging. "He's lucky to have you both ways," he added, clinking his glass to mine before vanishing into the crowd. I told myself it was nothing, a slip of the tongue from a guy still adjusting to Alex's orbit. But the calls came. Late-night check-ins from Ethan under the guise of catching up on Alex stories. He'd text memes about old Dorchester haunts, or photos of their sleek Back Bay apartment, always with a caption that twisted the knife. "Alex says this couch is big enough for 3 thoughts. Wife." The nickname burrowed under my skin, equal parts thrill and terror. Was it a joke? A test? Or worse, did Alex know? And this was his way of pulling me in without saying it aloud. The first real blaze hit on a muggy July night, the kind where the air hangs heavy with unspoken storms. Dispatch crackled, multi-alarm at a warehouse in Southie. Possible hazmat. My crew piled into the rig, sirens slicing the humid dark as we raced through red lights. I was first through the door, mask fogging with heat, the roar of fire like a beast unchained. Beams groaned overhead, and that's when I heard Eat a Child scream, faint but piercing, from the far corner where flames licked the walls like hungry tongues. Adrenaline surged. I plunged in, axe swinging, carving a path through the inferno. Smoke clawed my lungs, but I pushed on, finding her, a girl no older than 8, curled behind crates, wide-eyed and soot-blackened. "Got you," I rasped, scooping her up as the ceiling sagged. Her tiny arms locked around my neck. Trust absolute in that moment of chaos. We burst out into blessed cool air, medics swarming as I handed her off, collapsing against the truck to suck oxygen from the tank. The chief clapped my back, hell of a save. Riley, but triumph soured when my phone buzzed. "Alex, heard about the fire on the scanner. You okay?" "Ethan and I are grabbing coffee nearby, come meet us." Relief flooded me, irrational and fierce. I showered off the grime at the station, changed into jeans and a faded socks tee, and headed to the cafe on Broadway. They were tucked in a corner booth, Alex's head on Ethan's shoulder, fingers intertwined on the tabletop. My chest tightened at the domesticity, but Alex's face lit when he saw me, waving me over with that boyish enthusiasm. "Hero of the hour," he crowed, pulling me into a side hug that pressed his warmth against me too fully. Ethan slid a coffee my way, black. 2 sugars. Just how I liked it. "Figured you'd need this after playing knight in shining turnout gear," he said, his gray eyes locking on mine with that unnerving intensity. "Alex worries. You know. Thinks of you as family. More than that. Sometimes." The word hung unspoken, but I felt it, wife. Alex shot Ethan a playful glare, babe. Don't embarrass him, but didn't deny it. Just squeezed my knee under the table. A gesture so casual it could be brotherly, yet it sent sparks up my spine. We talked for hours, the 3 of us weaving stories like a tapestry rescue. Alex's latest pitch for a podcast on queer vets, Ethan's dry wit cutting through the steam of our mugs. By the time we spilled onto the sidewalk, the summer night alive with crickets and distant horns, I was dizzy with it all. "Crash at ours," Alex offered, arm around my shoulders. It's late, and I hate goodbyes. I should have said no. God, I should have. But the pull was magnetic. And Ethan's quiet, we'd like that. Wife sealed it, murmured as he held the car door for me. Their apartment was a world away from my cramped, sooty walk-up, exposed brick. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Charles. A king bed that dominated the master suite like an invitation. We crashed on the couch after too many beers. A tangle of limbs under a throw blanket, Alex in the middle, his head on my chest. Ethan's hand resting possessively on Alex's hip, but brushing mine in the dark. Sleep came fitful, dreams laced with fire and forbidden touches. Waking to Alex's soft snores and the weight of what we weren't saying. Morning light filtered through the blinds, gilding their skin as I slipped out to brew coffee, heart pounding with the recklessness of it. Ethan found me in the kitchen, leaning against the counter in boxers, his body a map of lean muscle and faint scars from some pre-startup adventure. You stayed, he said, not a question, pouring himself a mug. He slept better with you here. Like you're the missing piece. I froze, mug halfway to my lips, the air thickening between us. What are you doing, Ethan? Calling me that. He stepped closer, close enough I could smell his cedar cologne mixed with sleep-warm skin. Testing the waters. Alex wants thysis. Has for years. But he's scared you'll bolt if he says it. His fingers grazed my arm. Light as a question. Aren't you tired of pretending? Before I could answer, Alex shuffled in, rumple-haired and yawning, wrapping arms around Ethan's waist from behind. Morning. Loves, he mumbled, and the plural hit like a gut punch. Loves, as if it were already decided. The days blurred into a dangerous rhythm. Alex's book tour wrapped, but he lingered in Boston, crashing at Ethan's while I pulled doubles at the station, using the grind to outrun the what-ifs. Yet they drew me in, group hikes along the Freedom Trail, where Alex's hand would find mine in the crush of tourists. Lazy Sundays at their place, cooking pasta from his nana's recipes while Ethan teased me about my hero complex. And always, that word from a thin wife slipped in like smoke under a door, fanning embers I'd long tried to smother. Alex never corrected it, his eyes darkening with want whenever it landed, pulling me into hugs that pressed too close, lips brushing my ear with whispers of missed this. But cracks formed. One night, after a brutal shift pulled a guy from a car wreck on the Mass Pike. His screams echoing in my skull, I showed up at their door unannounced, reeking of diesel and defeat. Alex answered, concern etching his face, drawing me inside without a word. Ethan was out, some investor dinner, leaving us alone in the lamplit living room. Talk to me, Alex said, guiding me to the couch, his thumbs brushing tears I hadn't realized were falling. I broke then, words tumbling out the loneliness of the job, the fear of flames that mirrored the one in my chest for him. I've loved you since we were kids, Alex. And now this. With him calling me wife. It's killing me. He cupped my face, eyes fierce and tender. I know. God. Jamie. I know. Ethan sees it, sees us. He pushed for this. His lips crashed into mine, tasting of salt and certainty, years of pent-up fire igniting in that kiss. We tumbled together, hands mapping familiar yet new territories, his body fitting against mine like it was forged too. When Ethan returned hours later, he didn't interrupt, just watch from the doorway, a slow smile curving his lips as he joined us, his touch a bridge between what was and what could be. It wasn't seamless. Fights erupted, my jealousy flaring when Alex jetted to D.C. for a panel, leaving Ethan and me to navigate the quiet. Ethan's walls cracking when a close call at a structure fire had me laid up in Mass General with cracked ribs. Alex hovering like a storm cloud. You're both mine, he'd growl, pacing the sterile room. And I can't lose either of you to this damn job. We argued through it boundaries. Trust. The raw vulnerability of loving two men in a world that still side-eyed anything outside the lines. Therapy sessions in a back bay office, squeezed between my shifts and their deadlines, forced us to name the fears, abandonment from fractured homes, the specter of homophobia in blue-collar Boston, the terror of flames literal and figurative consuming what we'd built. Yet in the lulls, magic bloomed. A weekend in Provincetown, the three of us crammed into a rented cottage by the dunes, where sunsets painted the bay in fire-kissed hues. We walked hand in hand along the beach, Alex between us, his laughter free and full. That night, under a quilt of stars, we loved without reservations low, exploratory, each touch a promise. Ethan, ever the quiet anchor, traced patterns on my back as Alex slept between us, whispering, "You're his wife, Jamie. Ours." And that's the strongest foundation there is. The real inferno came on Labor Day, a five-alarmer tearing through a row house in Charlestown. Winds whipped embers like shrapnel, turning the block into a war zone. My crew was point, hoses snaking through debris as the structure buckled. Riley, second floor possible civilians. The captain barked, and I was up the ladder, heat blasting like a furnace. Inside, visibility zero. I crawled through choking black, calling out until a cough answered faint. Desperate. It was a family, mom clutching two toddlers, dad shielding them from falling plaster. "Hold on," I yelled, slinging the smallest onto my back, herding the rest toward the breach. Timbers snapped overhead, the world tilting in a roar of collapse. Pain exploded in my leg as a beam pinned me, flames nipping at my gear. Panic clawed not for me, but for them. For Alex and Ethan waiting at home with takeout and that stupid board game obsession. "Jamie." Alex's voice echoed in my head. A talisman. I wrenched free, shoving the family out to waiting arms below. But the floor gave way, plummeting me into the belly of the blaze. Darkness swallowed me. Then light medics. Oxygen. The wail of sirens fading to concerned faces. I woke in the ICU, tubes snaking my arms. The sterile beep of monitors a grim lullaby. Alex was there, hollow-eyed, gripping my hand like it'd vanish. "Don't you dare leave us," he whispered, voice cracking. Ethan paced at the foot of the bed, his composure fractured, murmuring, "Wife or not, you're stuck with me." Relief washed through the pain. We'd survived. All of us. The fire's lesson etched deep. Love wasn't a solo blaze, but a controlled burn, tended together. Recovery was hell PT sessions in a fluorescent gym, crutches clacking through their apartment as I rebuilt strength. But they carried me, literally and not. Alex reading aloud from his next manuscript. Ethan's steady presence engineering ergonomic hacks for my rehab. Doubts lingered, could this last in Boston's judgmental glare? When a tabloid snippet hit, twisting Alex's book promo into scandalous throuple ties. Whispers followed at the station. Riley's playing house with two guys. Ballsy. Some ribbed me. Others turned cold. But the chief pulled me aside. "Your saves speak louder than gossip. Just keep your head in the game." We leaned in harder, carving space in a world that didn't always bend. A quiet commitment ceremony in their garden, under autumn oaks shedding gold vows exchanged with rings that intertwined our initials. No priest, just us and the harbor's distant hum. To the fire we build together. Alex toasted, and we drank to it, tears mingling with laughter. Months later, as snow dusted the common, I stood on their balcony, our balcony, watching flakes dance over the lit skyline. Alex joined me, arms wrapping from behind, Ethan pressing close on my other side. "Happy, wife?" Ethan teased, nipping my ear. I turned, pulling them into the warmth of us. More than I ever dreamed. In Boston's fierce heart, We'd forged something unbreakable not despite the flames, but because of them. Love, it turned out, was the ultimate save, pulling each other from the brink, again and again, into a light that burned eternal. The winter chill seeped into my bones long after the medics peeled off the thermal blanket, but it was the memory of that beam's crush that haunted my nights. I'd stare at the ceiling fan in our shared bedroom, its lazy spin mocking the chaos still whirling in my head, while Alex's even breaths and Ethan's occasional snore anchored me to the present. We'd turned their apartment into ours without fanfarino lease signings. Just my duffel bag in the closet and a third toothbrush by the sink. It felt right. Fragile as fresh ice on the Charles. But right. My first day back at the station was a gauntlet. The guys ribbed me gently. Look who's back from playing house with the pretty boys, but under it. Respect lingered. I'd earned it. Pulling that family from the row house rubble. Even if it cost me a limp that PT was beating out of me. Captain O'Malley pulled me into his office. The air thick with coffee and old cigar ghosts. Heard about your situation, Riley. Brass doesn't care, long as you don't let it bleed into the job. But if those vultures from the press sniff around, you loop me in. I nodded. Throat-tight gratitude mixed with the sting of knowing situation meant us. The three of us defying the neat boxes the world preferred. Alex threw himself into his podcast, Echoes from the Edge, interviewing queer activists who'd stared down their own infernos. I'd come home to him hunched over his laptop, golden hair tousled, dictaphone capturing stories that mirrored our own jagged path. This one's like you, he'd say, pulling me onto his lap, replaying a vet's tale of coming out post-deployment. Ethan's world was sleeker boardrooms in the seaport, pitching AI for disaster response that eerily echoed my job. Imagine drones spotting hot spots before they spread. He'd muse over dinner, his foot hooking mine under the table. A silent claim. But intimacy was our battlefield. Nights when Alex was out late, Ethan and I navigated the quiet, his touches tentative at first, fingers tracing my scars, lips brushing knuckles as if afraid I'd shatter. You're not fragile, Jamie, he'd whisper one evening, after a particularly grueling shift left me wired and raw. We were in the kitchen, rain pattering the windows, and he backed me against the counter, his body a solid wall of heat. You're fireproof. His kiss was different from Alex, deeper, more deliberate, unraveling me thread by thread until I was gasping his name, the world narrowing to the slide of skin and the creak of cabinets. Alex walked in on us once, mid-tumble on the living room rug, and instead of jealousy, his eyes sparked with hunger. Room for one more? He asked, shedding his coat, joining the fray with a grace that turned chaos to symphony. We learned each other's rhythms, Alex's playful urgency, Ethan's commanding patience, my own fierce need to protect and be held. It was messy, profound sweat-slicked confessions in the afterglow, vulnerabilities laid bare like exposed wiring. Yet shadows loomed. My dad, the stoic shipyard vet who'd raised me solo after Mom bailed, cornered me at our usual Murphy's pub meetup. Gray hair thinning, hands calloused as ever. He nursed a Guinness and eyed me over the foam. Heard rumors, son, about you and them. The word hung heavy, laced with the old neighborhood's unease. I braced, but he sighed, clapping my shoulder. Brought you up to fight your own fires. If they make you happy, that's when enough for me. Tears pricked. Coming from him, it was absolution. Alex's family was trickier. His parents, devout Catholics from the old country, hosted a tense Thanksgiving in their Quincy split level. The table groaned under turkey and pierogies, but undercurrents crackled as Mom's tight smiles, Dad's averted eyes when Ethan passed the gravy. So, Jamie, she ventured, for covering, still saving the world one blaze at a time. I nodded, throat dry, as Alex squeezed my thigh under the linen. Later, In the powder room, he cornered me, breath ragged. They're trying. Give him time. But time felt like a fuse burning down. The holidays hit like a nor'easter, burying us in tinsel and tests. We strung lights on their balcony pine, a scrappy thing Ethan hauled from a lot, and baked gingerbread men that devolved into flower fights, laughter echoing off the brick. New Year's Eve, we watched the ball drop from a rooftop bar in the financial district, champagne flutes clinking as fireworks bloomed over the harbor. To us, Alex toasted, his kiss tasting of bubbles and promise. But as midnight tolled, a call came dispatch. A tenement blaze in the South End. Families trapped in the crosswinds. I kissed them goodbye in the elevator, their worried faces blurring as adrenaline surged. The rig tore through slushy streets, my limp forgotten in the rush. Flames clawed a 6-story walk-up, holiday lights melting into garish drips. We breached the lobby, heat blasting like an open oven, and I led the hose team up creaking stairs. Clear left, I shouted, kicking in doors to drag coughing residents into the stairwell. Elderly Mrs. Kowalski from 3B, a single dad with his infant bundled in a towel. On 4, a backdraft roared, sucking air and spitting embers, slamming me against the wall. Vision swam, but I pushed through, hauling a teen out by his hoodie just as the ceiling vented. Outside, in the blessed cold, medics checked me over. No breaks, just bruises blooming like ink. My phone exploded, Alex's frantic texts. Ethan's calm, come home safe. Wife. Relief crashed as I slumped against the pumper. The crew's cheers a distant hum. O'Malley nodded approval. Solid work, Lieutenant. You're back. Home was a haven of takeout, lo mein, in their arms, wrapping me as I recounted the save between bites. My heroes, I murmured, head on Ethan's lap, Alex's fingers combing my hair. But vulnerability bred doubt. In the dark, Alex confessed, what if Dad never gets it? What if we lose them? Ethan, ever the strategist, pulled us close. We build our family. Blood or chosen, it's ours. Spring thawed the ice. Blooming possibility. Alex landed a column in the Globe. Op-eds on queer resilience that quoted our story anonymously, sparking emails from strangers who'd found courage in our cracks. Ethan pitched his AI to the department, a demo where simulated flames danced on his laptop, my input shaping the code. Your eyes in the field, he called it, kissing my temple. But romance reignited old flames literally. A brush fire in Franklin Park, sparked by careless campers, had me knee-deep in underbrush, beating back blazes with Pulaskis while smoke stung like betrayal. Ethan surprised me at debrief, waiting by the engine with thermoses of broth. Figured you'd need fueling. His presence drew stares, but I pulled him into a quick, fierce kiss, claiming us publicly, heart hammering. That night, we celebrated with a picnic in the common, blankets spread under cherry blossoms shedding pink petals like confetti. Alex unpacked prosciutto and figs, feeding me bites with a wicked grin. Remember that treehouse dare? He asked, voice low. Jumped without looking. Ethan chuckled and landed in the best mess. Laughter flowed, easy as wine. But as dusk fell, Alex grew quiet, tracing my ring. I want forever. Legally. Messily. All of it. The word marriage hovered. Uncharted territory for 3. We talked till stars pricked the sky. Ceremonies. Adoptions maybe. Wills weaving us tight. Polyamory's no fairy tale, Ethan admitted, vulnerability cracking his poise. But with you too, it's real. Summer simmered tensions. A heat wave gripped the city, calls spiking grease fires in cramped kitchens, arc welder mishaps in garages. I pulled a double, collapsing into bed at dawn, only to wake to Alex and Ethan entangled. There forms a sculpture of limbs and light. Jealousy flickered. Irrational had they. But Alex stirred, pulling me in. Dreaming of you, he mumbled, and the knot eased. Ethan's startup boomed. Investors circling like sharks, pulling him to Silicon Valley for a week. Alone, Alex and I reverted to old rhythms runs along the esplanade, his hand in mine, confessions spilling like sweat. Ethan fits us, he said one evening, toes in the grass. But you're the spark. We made love on the balcony chaise, city hum below, reclaiming roots. His return brought gifts, a custom turnout jacket etched with our intertwined initials. For the wife who saves us all. Tears stung as I tried it on. The weight familiar yet transformed. How'd you know? Ethan smirked. I pay attention. The climax brewed in August. A warehouse inferno in East Boston. Chemicals fueling a beast that leaped from roof to roof. My team was stretched thin. Federal mutual aid rolling in as night fell. I was IC on scene, barking orders amid the maelstrom, when a mayday crackled Proby, trapped in a flashover. Hold fast. I roared, plunging back in. Air tank hissing warnings. Heat warped the air. Visibility a joke. But I found him, dragging his limp form through a collapsing wall. Debris raining like judgment. We tumbled out, gasping, as the structure imploded in a whoosh of orange. Cheers erupted, but pain lanced my side shrapnel graze. Nothing fatal. Hospital again. Stitches and scolds. But Alex and Ethan burst in like avenging angels. Faces pale with terror. Never again, Alex vowed, clutching my hand. We quit this dance. No, I thought we evolve it. In the weeks that followed, we planned a commitment ritual at Walden Pond. Thoreau's woods whispering approval for unconventional lives. Vows etched on bark, in fire and flood. We choose each other. Friends gathered me crew. Alex's activist circle. Even Ethan's venture pals witnessing our triad under a canopy of leaves. As leaves turned, so did Westronger. Scarred. Alive. Boston's pulse thrummed around us. A city of rebels who'd always bent rules for love. And in our bed, tangled and true, we burned bright. A family forged in flames. Fall's crisp bite sharpened the air, turning every breath into a reminder of fragility. But our ritual at Walden had sealed something unbreakably, a vow not just to love, but to endure. I limped less now. The warehouse grazed a faint pink line under my shirt, a badge alongside the others. The station buzzed with post-ritual gossip. Riley's got himself a whole squad now, but it came with nods of respect. The kind earned from backs watched in the thick of it. Life settled into a fierce, tender normalcy. Mornings with Alex's coffee and Ethan's coded wake-up playlists. Evenings dissecting the day's battles over craft beer on the balcony. Alex's column exploded. His piece on polyamory in blue-collar worlds going viral. Drawing hate mail that curdled my gut alongside fan letters that warmed it. They're calling us pioneers, he'd say, scrolling comments with a mix of awe and wariness. One night, after a troll-fueled Twitter storm, he paced the living room, phone clutched like a grenade. What if this cost you the lieutenant spot? Or Ethan's funding? I pulled him down, Ethan flanking, our hands linking in a chain. Let them rage. We're the story that outlasts. Ethan's AI demo wowed the brass. Greenlit for trials drones I'd pilot in Sims. Their eyes extending mine into the unknown. You're the heart of it, he told me during a late-night debug session. His laptop glowing between us on the kitchen island. Fingers brushed keys and skin alike. Tension coiling until code gave way to kisses. Alex stumbling in from a late edit to find us breathless. My geniuses. He laughed, joining the fray, turning frustration to fire. But normalcy cracked under family weight. My dad's acceptance emboldened him. He invited us to his annual clam bake in Hull. The beach fire crackling under star-pricked skies. Brought extra chairs. He grunted, handing out lobster pics. His eyes softer on Ethan as they bonded over engine talk. Turns out the mogul had a vintage Mustang under his hood. Alex charmed with stories of Nana's recipes. And for a moment, the waves lapping the shore drowned out old prejudices. Later, as embers died, Dad pulled me aside. Proud of you, kid. For all of it. The hug was gruff. Real progress in flannel and salt. Alex's folks were a harder thaw. Christmas loomed like a trial. Their Quincy home decked in poinsettias and piety. We arrived arms full gifts. Pies. Trepidation. His mom, Maria, air-kissed cheeks but stiffened at Ethan's hand on Alex's back. Such a full house, she murmured, ladling eggnog. Dinner was a minefield, Grace lingering on traditional unions. Dad Harper's coughs punctuating silences. But Alex, steel-spined, steered with tales of his embeds, drawing parallels to their immigrant grit. Loves the real homeland, he said, squeezing my knee. Ethan chimed in, dry as ever, and its non-transferable borders. Post-feast, in the snowy yard, Maria cornered us by the Virgin statue, rosary beads clicking. This arrangement. It's not God's way. Alex's face crumpled, but I stepped up, voice steady. With respect, Mrs. Harper, God's way includes compassion. We found ours. She searched our faces, tears welling, then nodded faintly. For you, Alec. But pray on it. It was an endorsement, but a door cracked enough. New year brought renewal, but fate tested it swift. A pre-dawn call, high-rise conflag in downtown Crossing. Offices turned tinderbox by faulty wiring. I geared up in the dark, kissing sleeping forms goodbye. The rig's wail a harbinger. Flames crowned the 30th floor, glass shattering like brittle promises as we ascended in the tower's spine. Evac was chaos suits fleeing in panic. Elevators jammed. I led a search team, flashlights cutting smoke veils, finding a janitor wedged in a vent, coughing blood. Easy, man, I soothed, prying him free. His gratitude a rasped gracias. Down the stairwell, endless flights, legs burning, when an explosion rocked the core gas line breach. They later said. Debris cascaded, pinning my air pack. I shoved the janitor ahead, yelling go. Before the world compressed. Pain bloomed, ribs cracking like dry twigs. But will propelled my thoughts of Alex's laugh. Ethan's steady gaze. Rescuers hauled me out. Chopper blades thumping overhead as sirens converged. Hospital lights blurred to Alex's tear-streaked face. Ethan white-knuckled beside him. Breathe. Jamie. Alex begged, as if my lungs forgot how. Fractures. Contusions weeks off. They said. In recovery. Ethan confessed over vending machine coffee. I froze when the call came. Pictured losing you. Alex nodded. Hollow. We need boundaries. No more heroics alone. Rehab was a grind. Pool therapy in echoing halls. Each stroke a fight against atrophy. They rotated visits. Alex with audiobooks of his columns. Ethan with tablets loaded with Sims, trained from bed. Wife. Laughter pierced the ache. But doubt crept was I enough. Scarred and sidelined. One night, post-PT, I snapped at Alex over a spilled water glass. Frustration boiling. You too deserve whole. Not this patched-up probie. He yanked me close. Fierce. You're our whole world. Idiot. Patches and all. Spring greened the city, coaxing us out. We volunteered at a Pride Center in JP. Alex facilitating panels. Me demoing fire safety with kid-sized helmets. Ethan donating tech for virtual support groups. A teen, wide-eyed and trembling, cornered me after. How do you? With 3. Doesn't it break? I crouched. Honest. It bends. but we mend together. His smile was a spark proof our mess mattered. Romance flared in stolen pockets, a weekend in the Berkshires. Cabin by a lake where loons called at dawn. We hiked mossy trails. Alex leading with that boundless energy. Ethan mapping routes on his phone. Evenings by the fire pit. Eskimo rays melting into lazy explorations bodies intertwined on flannel blankets. The crackle underscoring gasps and vows. Marry me, Alex murmured one night. Ring glinting in firelight not legal, but soul deep. We assented, tears salting the smoke. Back in Boston, Ethan's startup pivoted, securing grants for urban fire tech. My field tests integral. Your instincts save lives, he said at a launch gala, tuxedoed arm around me as flashes popped. Alex's keynote stole hearts, weaving our triad into a tapestry of hope. But media hounds circled, a Globe profile twisting throuple into tabloid fodder. Protests erupted, online slurs slinging like embers but allies amplified. A wave of support crashing the hate. Summer scorched again. Calls relentless, yacht fire in the harbor. My team diving into waves to douse it. Salt crusting gear. Ethan watched from the dock. Face ashen. Later admitting. Every siren twists the knife. We compromised me tracker app, pinging him locations. Alex's ritual pre-shift hugs. Intimacy deepened. Date nights at jazz dives in the South End. Hands linked under tables. Dances where bodies synced like perfect choreography. Autumn whispered change. Alex pitched a book on queer poly families, dedicating chapters to us. Our story's universal, he insisted, typing furiously. Ethan expanded the team, hiring a queer coder who'd fled conversion camps, mentoring him over beers. Pride swelling my chest. But a call shattered the idol. Multi-vehicle pileup on I-93. Fuel tanker involved. Flames leaping barriers. I was on scene in minutes, directing extrication amid twisted metal and screams. A woman's cries cut through, trapped in the cab. Fire kissing the undercarriage. Hold on, I bellowed, chainsaw whining as I carved an escape. She emerged shaking, child in arms, and as medics whisked them, she grabbed my sleeve. Angel. Adrenaline ebbed to exhaustion, but home waited, dinner steaming, their arms open. In the quiet after, we planned deeper, fertility talks, surrogacy dreams, building beyond blood. A kid with your eyes, Ethan mused, tracing Alex's jaw. Laughter bubbled, possibility blooming. Winter circled back, holidays healed. Maria hosted, table set for 5. Her blessing tentative, but there, a hand on my arm. Be happy, boys. We toasted, fragile peace holding. The year closed on a high-rise drill. My commands crisp, team tight. As snow fell, I drove home to lights in the window, their silhouettes beckoning. We'd bent, broken, reformed a love that withstood every blaze. Snow blanketed the city in hush, but beneath it, embers smoldered o'er love, a steady glow against January's bite. The apartment hummed with domestic magic. Alex's book proposal accepted. Deadlines chasing him like eager hounds. Ethan's firm landing a city contract. Drones buzzing test flights over the Mystic. I rotated to lighter duties, training rookies on the yard, their wide eyes soaking up my war stories. Watch the wind, she'll turn on you, I'd say, demonstrating hose lines, feeling the pull of mentorship like a new calling. Intimacy wove tighter threads. Mornings blurred into shared showers, steam fogging mirrors as hands roamed, laughter echoing off tiles. One dawn, Alex pinned me against the glass, water cascading, his whisper hot, "You're my anchor." Ethan joined, soap slick and smirking, turning routine to ritual. Nights, we'd collapse in a heap, debating baby names over takeout. Liam for a boy, Riley, neutral dreams taking shape like frost patterns. But dreams invited doubt. A fertility consult in Cambridge left us reeling, options vast. Costs steep. Ethics tangled. Who's bio kid? Alex voiced the fear in the car, knuckles white on the wheel. Ethan, from the back, squeezed my shoulder. Ours. That's the point. We tabled it, channeling energy into the Pride Center, co-hosting a workshop on non-monogamy. Faces in the circle young, scarred, hopeful mirrored our younger selves. Questions piercing. How do you trust? I shared the warehouse cave, the pull of their faces yanking me back. Trust the rope. Grip it. Spring unfurled green, thawing reservations. My full return to line duty coincided with cherry blossoms, patrols under petal storms, a grass fire in Roslindale, kids' campfire gone rogue, had me knee-deep in damp earth, suppressing flanks while teaching on site. Fires a teacher respect her. Back at quarters. A text from Ethan. Proud. Dinner at home. Alex's addendum. Wear that jacket. Wife's orders. Their welcome was Fira Litkin Lelitz spread on the balcony. City twinkling below. Toasts to milestones. Alex's advance. Ethan's grant. My clean bill. Dessert devolved into slow unraveling. Clothes shed under stars. Body's a testament to survival. Forever starts now. Alex breathed, and we sealed it. Hearts sinking in the night. Family wove in warmer. Dad's birthday bash at the VFW hall. Polka band wheezing. Saw him dance with Marie awkward steps bridging worlds. Your boys clean up nice. He chuckled, clapping Ethan's back. Harper Sr. even cracked a smile at Alex's toast. To dads who build bridges. Progress. Incremental as dawn. Yet storms brewed. Alex's book tour kicked off. Coast calling. Leaving Ethan and me in a duet of longing. Nights alone. We'd video his hotel glow framing tired grins but distance amplified cracks. One call. Post a brutal structure fire where I lost a historic brownstone to arson. Alex's voice broke. Wish I could hold you. Ethan, sensing, drove us to Logan for a surprise layover, reunion terminal embrace. Frantic kisses in a corner. Go conquer, I whispered. And he did, returning with tails and tattoos, our initials inked on his rib. A map home. Ethan's world spun faster. A conference in Austin pulling him south. Solo with Alex. We reclaimed Roots Dorchester walks. Hand in hand past our old school. Ghosts of boyhood lingering. Jumped from that roof once. Alex reminisced. Pointing. For you. We made love in the grass. Reckless and raw. Reclaiming stolen years. Summer sizzled. Calls peaking. Boardwalk blaze at Revere Beach. My team waiting surf to douse it. Salt and smoke mingling. Ethan met me after. Towel in hand. Drying my hair like a benediction. My salty hero. Alex captured it in a sketch. Later framed, 3 figures against waves. Unbreakable. But romance tested metal. A rival journalist. Old flame of Alex's from NYU. Cornered him at a panel flirty barbs. Lingering touches caught on camera. Tabloids twisted it. Polly pundit plays field. Jealousy gnawed me. Irrational. Spilling in a fight over cooling stir-fry. Trust me, Alex pleaded. But wounds festered. Ethan mediated. Cool head. Talk it out, no flames. We did. Raw and revealing fears of inadequacy aired. Mended with touches and truths. Fall harvested growth. Alex's book dropped. Signing swamped. Us flanking him like sentinels. One in Harvard Square. Fans queuing. A burly vet gripped my hand. Your story saved my marriage, opened it. Tears pricked. Impact rippled. Ethan's drones debuted in a live drill. My crew guinea pigs. Tech predicting spread with eerie accuracy. Game changer. O'Malley grunted. And pride swelled our worlds converging. Thanksgiving gathered us, all Harpers thawing fully. Maria's blessing in a side hug. Love wins. Laughter rang. Pies cooling. Futures toasted. Winter whispered of legacy. Fertility resumed. Sperm bank visits clinical yet charged. Positive, the nurse said months later. Our surrogate's test glowing on the screen. Joy exploded ultrasounds. Names revisited. Nursery sketches on fridge. But fate, cruel jester, struck. A midnight alarm, chemical plant in Chelsea. Toxic plume rising like a specter. I led hazmat. Suits bulky. Meters beeping warnings. Breach revealed workers down. Fumes insidious. One by one. We extracted masks fogging. Hearts pounding. Last man. Buried under collapsed shelving. Stirred feebly. Almost there. I lied. Heaving metal. When a secondary burst rocked us fits rupturing. Acid rain. Burns seared my arms through the suit. Vision blurring. But I dragged him clear. Collapsing as teams swarmed. R was a haze, debridement. Grafts. Alex's sobs. Ethan's vigil. Our baby's due in fire season. I joked weakly. But fear shadowed could I protect them all. Recovery bonded us fiercer. Bedside vigils turned to plans, paternity leaves. Family alarms. You're irreplaceable, Ethan vowed. Kissing scars. Spring bloomed with bump surrogates visits. Kicks felt through palms. Pride swelled. Our triad expanding. Summer tested, a subway spark under the green line. Evacuating panicked crowds. I herded them topside. But a stampede clipped me. Ankle twisting. Limping home to ultrasounds. Their hands on the curve worth every ache. Fall's harvest, book tours wrapped. Ethan's firm thriving. My promotion to captain whispered. Holidays haloed in hope. Bellies full. Hearts fuller. As snow fell anew. We nested crib assembled. Onesies folded. Life's blaze tempered to hearth. Our love the eternal flame. The first kick was a miracle wrapped in flutter. A secret Morse code from within our surrogate's gentle swell. Felt during a park picnic under the public garden swans. Alex's eyes welled. Hand pressing reverent. Ethan's grin split wide. Analytical mind already charting growth charts. I laughed. Tear-streaked. The weight of captaincy lightened by this new gravity. Our little arsonist. I quipped. And we collapsed in giggles. Swans gliding indifferent to our joy. Captain Riley's stripes came official in a quiet ceremony at HQ. Brass pins glinting under fluorescent hum. The crew hooped. O'Malley toasting with station coffee, earned every one. Could now keep him from melting. Alex and Ethan flanked the podium. Their presence a talisman against imposter whispers. Post-swearing. We celebrated at the Druid. Pints raised to futures branching like the Charles's tributaries. Parenthood prep consumed us. Classes in a Fenway clinic. Diaphragms and diapers blurring into absurdity. Changing a phantom baby. Ethan deadpanned during role play. But his tenderness shone in late-night research binges. Curating playlists of lullabies laced with queer anthems. Alex dove into dadlit. Annotating margins with our triad twists. Co-parenting means 3 times the love. Half the sleep. I practiced knots on stuffed bears. Fireman precision applied to bibs. But bliss buffered brewing storms. Alex's book Teredix pulled him west. Panels on poly-parenting drawing crowds and critics. A podcast in Seattle turned ambush host probing stability for the kid. With veiled sneers. He called home fuming. Voice crackling over miles. They paint us as experiment. Ethan and I soothed via video. But seed of doubt sprouted. Were we enough? Ethan's empire expanded. A Chicago pitch weekend looming. Dual absences left me solo shifts stacking. Belly check calls to our surrogate. Lila. A warm voice from JP with her own queer family. All good. Captain kicks like soccer. Nights alone amplified echoes, doubts of provision. Protection. A warehouse smolder in Alston. Embers reigniting overnight. Had me on overtime. Axe biting beams till dawn. Home to empty sheets. Exhaustion cracked sobbing in the shower. Flames I'd douse for them flashing vivid. Their returns mended, Alex with desert wildflowers tucked in his carry-on. Ethan with a prototype baby monitor drone for when you're on call. Reunion was fervent. Bodies reclaiming space. Whispers weaving security. We're solid, Alex affirmed, curled between us. Unbreakable. Summer sulked humid. Calls capricious. Rooftop barbecue inferno in Back Bay. My team rappelling facades. Hoses arcing rainbows through smoke. Lila's shower at the center overflowed, friends gifting slings and storybooks. Maria cooing over booties she'd knitted. Her acceptance blooming soft. For the Nipotino, she said, kissing my cheek, grandma in waiting. Yet media maelstrom swirled. A conservative rag outed our surrogacy. Headlines screeching, fire captain scandal spawn. Protests picketed the station signs decrying unnatural nests, O'Malley shielding with growls, save it for the flames. Hate mail flooded. But allies rallied, Alex's op-ed countering with fierce humanism. Ethan's legal team quashing libel. In the eye, we huddled therapy sessions, unpacking rage. Rebuilding trust brick by emotional brick. Fall gilded edges. Lila's checkups charted progress gender neutral. Healthy heartbeat thumping like applause. We debated middle names. Settling on Harper Riley Caldwell. I hyphenated him. My Captain Judy's deepened, mentoring a young gay probie. His coming out jitters echoing mine. Own your fire. I advised over yard drills. Watching him bloom. Romance rekindled in embers. A harvest moon hike in Blue Hills. Leaves crunching underfoot. Led to a clearing where we spread blankets. Stars wheeling above. Alex unpacked cider. Ethan a telescope. Stargazing segued to slow undulations. Earth and sky blurring. Our constellation. Ethan murmured. Tracing connections on sweat-damp skin. Winter wove coziness. Holidays hybrid. Dad's clam chowder melding with Maria's babka. Toasts to the bump. New Year's. We watch fireworks from the balcony. Hands on Lila's loaned belly cam. Promises etched in bursts of light. But January jawed back. A frigid snap iced lines. Bursting pipes in a senior home off Beacon. I coordinated from the cab. Voice steady over radio as crews flooded basements. Evacuating frail forms. One elder. Wheezing in my arms. Clasped my collar. Bless you. Son like my boy lost to AIDS. His story spilled in the ambulance. A lifetime's grief. I held space. Heart aching with echoes. Home. Debrief over Coco. Alex linked arms. You're their hero in ours. Ethan nodded. Vulnerability cracking. Seeing you carry that. Makes me want to carry more. Talks turned to equity shared leaves. Flexible shifts blueprinting balance. Spring quickened pulse. Lila's glow visits became rituals. Ultrasounds printing tiny fists. Pride Month dawned. Our flow to hit drones spelling love multiplies in skyscript. Crowds cheering. A kiss cam caught us mid-parade. Broadcast live. Backlash buzzed. But love louder. Summer stormed. A lightning sparked blaze in the fens. Wetlands fueling frenzy. Had me waist deep in muck. Suppressing hotspots till lightning quit. Drenched. I emerged to Ethan's truck idling. Towel and thermos waiting. Knew you'd need rescue. Alex's text pinged. Our muddy night. But cracks widened. Lila's routine skin flagged anomalies placenta issues. Bedrest ordered. Panic spiked. We rallied meals delivered. Ethan hacking a remote monitor. Alex scripting affirmations. Team effort. She laughed weakly. But fear shadowed her eyes. False fertility faltered. Complications mounted. Hospital stays blurring days. We tag-teamed vigils. My shifts cut short for bedside holds. One night. Monitors beeping frantic. Docs rushed in emergency C. Our babe arriving premature. Tiny and tenacious in the NICU's hum. Eloise our choice. Fierce and flowing fought. wires snaking her bird limbs. We took shifts, fingers through incubator ports, whispering strength. Like your dad's. Alex cooed. Unquenchable. Ethan analyzed vitals. Calm facade masking terror. I patrolled halls like a sentinel. Fireman vigilance repurposed. Weeks wired tight. But Eloise rallied, lungs strengthening. First cry of victory wail. Discharge day. Bundled in our arms. The city welcomed her with autumn sun. Home was a nest of burp cloths and bottles. Sleep fractured but sacred. Winter wrapped us warm. First holidays with her, tree trimmed tiny. Her gurgles the best carol. Challenges lumid colic, cries piercing nights. Judgments from strangers at parks but joys outweighed. Her grip on fingers. Gummy smiles mirroring ours. As snow softened to slush. Eloise's eyes hazel like mine held worlds. We blazed through trials. Emerging a family forged finer. Love's fire eternal. Eloise's coos filled the apartment like dawn light. Chasing shadows from corners once haunted by doubt. At 3 months, her world was milk and miracles. Tiny fists waving conductors' batons to our lullabies, Alex's off-key folk tunes. Ethan's hummed algorithms. My gravelly sea shanties from Dad's old records. Nights fractured into shifts. But mornings mended, her in a sling against my chest during kitchen chaos. Alex scrambling eggs while Ethan pureed peas. Our triad a well-oiled machine of love and logistics. Captaincy commanded more battalion meetings in leather chairs. Strategizing response grids for the aging grid. The probie I'd mentored. Tyler. Shown in drills. His confidence a quiet win. Thanks to you. Cap. He said post a rooftop sim. And pride bloomed. Paternal echoes rippling to Eloise. Spring tiptoed in with her firsts. Roll on the rug. Gurgle laugh at peekaboo. Lila visited often. Auntie roll suiting her. Sharing surrogacy scars over tea. You 3. Perfect storm. Alex's sequel brood. Chapters on triad to tribe. Eloise napping on his chest as he typed one-handed. But balance tipped. Ethan's firm boomed. Late nights debugging code for national rollout. One evening, I walked in to find him slumped at the desk. Eloise dozing in a bassinet nearby. His eyes ringed with fatigue. Missed the bedtime story. He confessed. Voice small. I massaged knots from his shoulders. Alex joining with wine. We're in this relay. Alex said. Pass the baton. We did date nights bartered. Me covering feeds so they could steal a jazz hour. Summer sizzled family. A Cape getaway. Rented dune shack smelling of salt and pine. Where Eloise discovered sand. Chubby toes curling in grains. We built lopsided castles. Waves lapping judgments away. Nights. Her in a portable crib. We reclaimed the sagging couch kisses salty. Bodies rediscovering in whispers. Still sparks. Ethan growled. And we ignited. Stars winking complicit. Back in town. Calls Claude. A festival flare-up at City Hall Plaza. Pyrotechnics gone awry. My team weaving through revelers to contain chaos. Eloise's first tooth-pierced gums that week. Cries sinking with sirens in my dreams. Home. Teething rings chilled. Her relief a gummy beam worth every wail. Fall schooled us sharp. Eloise's daycare hunt unearthed biases centers balking at unconventional custody. One director's sniff, 3 dads. Tricky. We pivoted to a queer co-op in Roslindale. Rainbow flags waving welcome. Teachers cooing, family mosaic. Drop-offs became rituals. Her waves tiny anchors. Alex's book launch packed a South End bookstore. Eloise in a papoose on his back as he read passages on our Blazeborn bond. Q&A turned Tinder, a mom asking, "How's the baby fit?" He grinned, bouncing her. Like she was always the missing flame. Signings spilled into street hugs from readers. Our story stitching strangers' wounds. Yet undercurrents churned. Tyler confided struggles boyfriend's closet. Department whispers mirroring my youth. I coached over coffee. Come out on your terms. We've got your six. His resolve hardened. A ripple of courage. Ethan's pitch in D. C. Overlapped a brutal nor'easter. Winds fanning warehouse winds in Everett. I pulled all-nighter. Coordinating from the EOC. Voice hoarse over comms as gusts sheared roofs. Eloise's fever spiked that dawn. Alex pacing ER halls alone. Tag. You're it. He texted. Strained. I raced over post-shift, finding her cooling under meds. His exhaustion mirroring mine. Too many fronts. He admitted. We vowed recalibration hired help. Therapy tune-ups. Winter wove resilience. Eloise's first steps tottered across the living room. Our cheers a chorus. Phones forgotten in glee. Holidays haloed. Extended family converging. Dad hoisting her high. Maria's carols in Italian. Toasts to the best blaze yet. But January jabbed. A subway short in Kenmore. Sparks igniting seats. Trapped riders panicking. I breached cars. Smoke acrid. Pulling a commuter with singed lungs as gasp family. Tell them. Etching deep. Home to Eloise's milestone first word. The ambiguous bliss. Claimed by all. Spring sprouted growth. Eloise's babble expanded. Pointing at trucks with fireman glee. Lila's second surrogacy chat bubbled sibling dreams. My battalion aced audits. Tyler's promotion a team win. Romance reasserted. A spring equinox escape to the North Shore. Eloise with sitters. Let us unplug clifftop walks. In dinners by candle. Remember the treehouse. Alex teased. And we did. Recreating dares and silk sheets. Laughter echoing waves. Summer stormed societal. A department gala. Black ties and egos. Saw brass side-eye. Our table Eloise in frills on my lap. A colonel's barb. Captain's harem. Ethan parried cool. Family. Sir. Stronger than steel. Applause followed. But sting lingered. Alex's column eviscerated it. Going viral backlash and badges of honor. False fertility flowered anew. Lila agreed. Our quartet plotting baby too. Scans gleamed. Hope hatching. But fate fisted. A high-rise hotel blaze in the theater district. Gala guests fleeing velvet panic. I led ascent. Elevators out. Stairs a gauntlet of smoke. On 15. A sweet door yielded a couple elderly. Hand clasped. Flames nipping heels. Together. The wife insisted. And we descended as one. Her grip iron through terror. Outside. Oxygen masks on. She pressed a locket. For your little one love's talisman. News later. They'd perished in a similar fire decades back. Saved by a firefighter. Now paying forward. Chills ran deeper than adrenaline. Home. Eloise's hug-toddler arms fierce grounded me. We carry their lights. Ethan said. And we did. Vowing vigilance. Winter whispered wonders. Eloise's second birthday. Cake-smeared faces. Gifts unwrapped to squeals. Challenges nipped tantrums testing tempers. Judgments at playgrounds but joys trumped. Her, I love yous, mumbled in sleep. As blooms budded. Our family flowered roots deep. Branches wide. Fire-tested and true. Eloise's third summer was a whirlwind of wonder. Her curls bouncing as she chased butterflies in the common. Tiny voice demanding up. Duh. To whichever of us, she claimed that moment. At 2.5. She ruled our roost bedtimes a negotiation. Baths a splashy battleground but her light outshone the chaos. A beacon in Boston's bustling gray. Lila's pregnancy progressed smooth. Our bonus round a secret thrill. Checkups penciled around my captain logs and their deadlines. Duty deepened divides. A string of arsons plagued the North in targeted hits on immigrant shops. Hate's hot breath fanning fear. I spearheaded the task force. Late nights poring over patterns in the EOC. Coffee cold as leads. Tyler, now Sergeant, shadowed Keen, copycat, kept escalating. We staked spots, nabbing a skinhead torch in the act. His snarl freaks like you don't belong, twisting gut. Arrests rolled, but scars lingered, shop owners' haunted eyes echoing Eloise's innocence. Alex channeled fury into advocacy, partnering with the Center for Arson Survivor Support. His pieces indicting systemic rot. Fires weapon when unchecked, he'd say, typing with Eloise on knee, her crayons scribbling margins. Ethan donated drones for surveillance, tweaking algos over family dinners, predict the spark, prevent the blaze. Their convergence fueled me, but exhaustion etched lines, snapped words over undone dishes. Apologies sealed in hurried hugs. Fall framed fractures. Eloise's preschool start was a tearjerker backpack, dwarfing frame. Waves brave from the gate. Big girl, she chirped, but pickup tales of mean words about extra daddies pierced. We coached gentle, our family's special like a rainbow after rain. Teachers mediated, but sting-smarted, prompting a school board push for inclusive curricula. Alex testifying fierce. Ethan funding PSAs. Me drilling safety with pint-sized helmets. Lila's milestone skin beamed, all clear. But a scare followed, spotting that sent us scrambling to her side. ER lights harsh. False alarm. Docs assured. But fear fermented. What if? We doubled down nutrition runs. Meditation apps. My shifts swapped for prenatal yoga vigils. Team unbreakable. Lila echoed, her hand on bump. Winter warded woes. Eloise's holiday pageant. Turkey hat askew. Stole hearts, our front row cheers loudest. Extended kin converged fuller, Dad regaling shipyard yarns. Maria baking twice. Even Harper Sr. bouncing her on knee. Gruff, smart cookie. Romance required rescue. A Valentine's vow renewal in the Arnold Arboretum. Snow-dusted branches arching vows. Eloise flower girl in mittens. Through every season, we pledged. Rings refreshed. Her giggles the recessional. Nightcap at home turned tender babysitter dispatched. Us slow dancing to Coltrane. Clothes pooling like melted snow. Spring spurred siblings. Lila's cravings hit pickles and pierogies delivered giggling. Eloise helping with wobbly stacks. My task force wrapped. Perp sentenced. Community breaths easing. Tyler's coming out party at the station. Rainbow cake sliced amid toasts. Marked milestone as boyfriend's kiss met cheers. Progress palpable. But summer surged shadows. Eloise's fever spiked post-playdate. Docs diagnosing rosacea rash blooming like worry. Quarantine nights. Her whimpers ringing us. Tested tempers. Alex's pacing. Ethan's stats obsession. My futile patrols. We're enough. I growled through delirium. And dawn broke with her smile. Crisis crested. Ethan's national rollout toured him to L.A. Absence aching. Alex and I filled with park picnics. But a call yanked me bridge tinder on the Zachem. Sparks from frayed cables threatening collapse. I rappelled girders. Wind whipping. Extinguishing midair. Heart in throat for the family waiting. Home to Alex's arms. Eloise's Mista. Recommitment surged. Fall's bounty. Lila's baby shower. Garden affair under falling leaves. Eloise, auntie, proud with gifts. Names narrow Jasper for the boy. Sturdy and sparkling. Yet peril peaked. A pre-dawn multi-alarm in Mattapan. Row houses linked in flame. Trapping families. I commanded from the street. Teams breaching. But a wall-bowed warning groan lost in roar. Collapse imminent. I bellowed, shoving rookies back. When it buckled, rubble swallowing me. Darkness crushed. Rebar piercing thigh. Pain a white-hot scream. Radio crackled Tyler's panic. Cap down. Rescuers dug, hauling me free. Blood-slicking pavement. ER was frenzy. Surgery. Transfusions. Alex's wail. Ethan's grip vice on rails. Stay with us. They chanted. Eloise's photo clutched like talisman. Fractured femur. They said months rehab. Babe's birth imminent. Can't miss it. I rasped. Morphine slurring. Recovery chained Meb to wheelchair. Frustration feral. Eloise climbed laps gentle. Fixta? Breaking me. Therapy ground slow. Pool laps, echoing isolation. But their rotations healed. Alex's stories. Ethan's VR sims, 4 virtual saves. Lila's bump visits promising. November birth, Jasper Lila's labor swift. Our vigil electric. He emerged squalling. Dark tufts and storm eyes like Ethan's. Handed round in a circle of awe. Brother. Eloise squealed. Finger tracing his. Homecoming nested us fuller. Bottles doubling. Chaos cherished. Winter weathered us. Jasper's colic synced with my casts. Night's a tag team tango. But first smiles is to us. Hers teaching him stitched souls. Holidays hummed harmony. Kin crowding with casseroles. Toasts to the flames that warm. As thaws teased. Jasper's coos joined Eloise's chatter. Our home a symphony of survival. Weed plummeted depths. Risen renewed love's forge unyielding. Jasper's first spring was a revelation. His gurgles harmonizing with Eloise's bossy directives, baby sit. As we navigated the tandem tango of toddler and infant. Crutches clacked to cribside changes. My rehab a race against his rolling milestones. But each gummy grin was victory enough. Lila recovered radiant. Weaving in as honorary aunt. Her own life blooming with a new partner met at the center. You gave me family twice over. She said. Hugging fierce at a park meetup. Ducklings paddling oblivious. Captain C seated temporarily desk duty in the EOC. Plotting protocols from a swivel chair. Frustration simmering like banked coals. Tyler stepped up seamless. His briefings crisp. Your playbook. Cap. Pride mingled with impatience. But Ethan's custom ergo setup and Alex's pep talks eased the grind, plotting saves worlds. 2. Summer schooled synergy. Eloise's swim lessons at the Y. Jasper strapped to my chest. Water whooshing as she splashed doggy paddle. Alex captured candidates. Later inspiring a children's book pitch, Firehouse Families. Tales of diverse crews quenching fears. Ethan's leaves synced. Tridad rotations flawless bark barbecues where Jasper gnawed teething rings. Eloise rescuing him from grass blades. Yet echoes of arson lingered. A copycat flare in Eastie targeted a trans bookstore. My intel key to swift quench. From dispatch. I vectored teams. Voice steal. Protect the vulnerable. Post-incident. Owners hugged tight. Your voice saved our shelves. Impact from afar. But it chafed yearning for the line's raw pulse. Fall-framed futures. Eloise's preschool play. Tree sprite in leaves. Drew tears. Jasper's babble mimicked applause. Lila's wedding. Garden vows under arbors. Us as chaos squad, wrangling kids through petals. Alex's book signing overlapped. Fans cooing over tots in Slings Our Life, the living sequel. Romance reignited raw. An autumn leaf peep drive to the White Mountains. Kids with Maria overnight. Unfurled Us Motel hot tub steaming. Bodies buoyant in rediscovery. Missed this wild. Alex groaned. Ethan's hands mapping scars. Dawn hikes crested peaks. Views vast as our vows renewed. Winter whispered warnings. A polar vortex iced the grid. Pipes freezing in high-rises. My cleared for light duty self joining patrols. A co-op blaze in Roxbury. Elderly trapped in stairwells. Had me guiding hoses from the cab close enough to taste smoke. Far from the breach. Tyler pulled the save. His nod over radio. For you. Cap. But home heated higher. Jasper's first steps wobbled to Eloise's cheers. Her big bro. A milestone mash. Holidays haloed, kin full circle. Dad carving turkey with Jasper on hip. Maria's creche expanded for tots. Toasts twinkled, to fires tamed. Families flamed. Spring spurred strides. Full return loomed. Drills ramping me limp a ghost. Strength surging. Eloise's questions probed deep. Why 3 daddies? We'd circle on the rug. Jasper gnawing blocks. Love's not one sizey, it's us sized. Her nod sage. Absorbing like sponge. Ethan's firm philanthropy. Grants for queer youth, fire safety camps, some guest leading. Kids wide-eyed at gear demos. Captain Dad. One dubbed. And laughter lit the yard. Yet climax crested cruel. Memorial Day heat wave birthed a beast. Waterfront warehouse row. Combustibles cached by smugglers. Flames leaping docks like vengeful spirits. I was icy. Staging from the wharf. Winds whipping fury as federal boats churned. Flank the east. I ordered. When a propane tank detonated, shockwave slamming rigs. Embers arcing to the pier. Debris flew. A girder shearing toward a cluster of bystanders, families picnicking. Oblivious. Time slowed. I bolted. Legs screaming, old wounds. Tackling a dad and daughter clear as it crashed. Impact Jared. Shoulder dislocating. But they scrambled safe. Her cry, thank you. Piercing din. Teams contained. But cost tallied 2 injured crew. My arm and sling anew. Hospital reunion was raw. Alex's collapse into sobs. Ethan's triage of my chart. Kids smuggled in for hugs. Eloise, hurt again. Duh. Twisting knives. For them. I whispered. Nodding to the family I'd saved. Visiting with pie. Worth it. Recovery redux, bonded, unbreakable. Slinged summer. I narrated bedtime epics. One-handed bottle feeds. Their touch is tender therapy. Doubts surfaced. Alex's whisper, fear. What if next time? Ethan confessed boardroom burnout. Dreams of semi-retire. Scale back. Scale up us. We pivotetis remote pivot. Alex's freelance flex. My hazard scalebacks post kids. Fall flowered final. Eloise's kindergarten jitters eased by first day tales. Jasper's toddle turning chase. Lila's family grew. Playdates meshing our broods. A station gala capped at me, toast weaving saves to souls, fire takes. But family gives back. Tyler's promotion followed. His speech nodding me, learned from the best triad. Winter waned to wonder. Eloise's snow angel lessons. Jasper's first sled whoop. Our balcony cocoa circle stories spun of blazes braved. As cherry petals fell, we gathered on the common. Kids romping. Hands linked. From best friends to this. Alex marveled. Ethan smirked. Wife. Husband's eternal. I pulled them close. City pulsing around. Love's the hook that held us. And the meaning that saves. Years unfurled. Eloise's fire cadet badge pinned at 10. Jasper's drone hacks rivaling Ethan's at 8. Alex's books lined shelves. Ethan's legacy in safer skies. My captaincy a beacon for out crews. Challenges came, teen rebellions. Health hiccups. Societal shifts, but we faced them tried true. Pulling each from personal infernos. In Boston's beating heart. We'd scripted a saga. From childhood sparks to family blaze. Proving love's spectrum defies extinguishing. The call of wife echoed not as secret, but sacrament binding us in a romance as enduring as the harbor's tide. Kith and kin the ultimate. Meaningful safe.